Totally dominated them down low, to be honest with you. They only shot 43%. You know, they just really outplayed them. They outplayed them. I don't know whether they caught them sleeping or what. Hold on, let me check something. Let's see, that was in January, right, against Tech. They were coming off a game against Virginia Tech, and they were looking ahead to Miami. So it wasn't really. It was that time of year where Virginia wasn't covering many games. They weren't playing good. They sort of turned it up after that. Tech is coming in, nothing to lose here. Coming off that great win against Clemson. They've played very well down the stretch, if you guys don't know. They did lose that game by 3 to Louisville, but sandwiched between that, they won 6 out of their last 7 games, and they're playing good. You're getting double digits. Why does double digits matter in this game? More so than anything else. Well, if you believe in, this season, Tech has had 19 conference games this year, right? 18 of them have been decided by single digits, win or lose, okay? Single digits. You're getting double digits today, okay? You look at Virginia, number 2 seed, legitimate national title contender. Georgia Tech, ACC's 10 seed, and needed to beat Clemson as a 3-point dog on Wednesday and had to overcome an 18-point deficit to get it done. However, I still am going to make a case. I think I did. Yes, they need to run the table in the ACC tournament to become in the field, because they weren't consistent enough. But they like I said, they have been playing very well, and you're going to give me double digits to a Virginia team that's they're not going to put 80 points up on you. It's just not going to happen. And you got a Virginia Tech. I mean, the writing's on the wall. 18 out of 19 have been single-digit games. They play close games. John Jensen says, Notre Dame is storming back. They were plus 1,500 in live betting a few minutes ago. Duke 64-60 with 5 minutes left. Yep, got that one going on the TV. The under originally, I sent it out. I said this morning before the line was made, I said, listen, you guys, and this was a free play. I sent it out. You guys play the under. If it's 150 or higher, it opened at 151.5. Hopefully some of you guys waited because it went up to 156. Thank God I was on that field trip, because when I did come home, the number was 156. So if I would have saw it at 151.5, I wouldn't have thought twice about playing the under. It wasn't looking good. Now we're sitting in a close game here at 131 with 5 minutes left. Could be close. We'll see what happens. I'm sure Notre Dame's getting a little tired. They're going to slow it down. We'll see how it goes. Should be interesting. Got about 15 minutes till we start talking a little Cubs here. If we get some new listeners to the show that are waiting for that. 4:30, I will be calling him. I know he's on a little break, a little hiatus from spring training for a few days. He's heading back for the rest of the duration, I believe, this weekend. So I appreciate him taking the time out on basically his last little vacation before the season grind. So before we get to him, let's get into a couple more games here, as I think a few are coming up soon. So maybe we should try to touch into those. Let me see what they are here. Let's see what's coming up. 5:30 Arizona game, not much there. Utah Valley, Nevada, New Mexico. Nevada, New Mexico, I got a few. We can talk about that because I got a few angles on this one. Let me pull it up here. Nevada and New Mexico. First on the side, then on the total, right? The New Mexico total at 146 right now. Who's calling me? The total at 146. Some numbers to go over, and this is I'm going to sort of parlay the under talk with the side talk. First, let's talk about what Andrew Lang has to say about this under, right? Without Marquise Coleman, his injury, who's one of the top usage players in the country, Nevada really has struggled to score during recent 3-game absence. The team netted 69, 57, and 66 points in regulation. There's chances he could play. Obviously, he won't be 100%. And even with them, Nevada was one of the worst offensive teams in the league. That, is in obviously littered bad defense. Coach Musselman has also pleaded with his team to stop hoisting so many three-pointers, consider it ranks dead last in the nation for three-point percentage at 27.2%. That should lead to more emphasis on ball movement and fewer shots earlier in the shot clock. At one time, New Mexico looked like it had the second-best defense in the league behind San Diego State, but they decided to start outscoring people. And that's what they tried to do. So they've been both of them sort of been playing over basketball for most of the season, but there's a few factors in play that makes Lang really like the under in this one. And I tend to agree a little more towards maybe the team total under on Utah State, because I do like this New Mexico team. You know, it can be frustrating. They can be frustrating team to watch, but they have an offensive firepower with Brown and Williams running and efficient pick and roll games to make a run. Unfortunately, the Lobos often shoot themselves in the foot with turnovers. No one on the perimeter plays defense. So we'll see how that goes. Fortunately for them, they're getting Utah State that's a little banged up, right? Where was I just going to read something there? I wanted to find something for it. More parlaying into that. Anyway, I think New Mexico gets it done. I was just trying to find them to pull up the season series on it, so bear with me, guys. It's the one thing I wish I could just push it off to somebody for 20 seconds so they could talk, so I could take a breath here and pull something together for you. New Mexico 5-1 ATS against Nevada. They won 71-66 and 88-76, controlling the boards in both games. I like them here at the 3.5. I also like the under, like you said. So you combine those two together, you can get, maybe a Utah State team total under. Maybe you want to do a small parlay, something to that effect. Elsewhere in the Fresno State, UNLV. I got on this one early, thank God. The line was a pick. I didn't send it out in time to clients. It went to 3, so now it's a free play that I haven't sent out. This will be the first one, another one that we talk about. Fresno -3. They've won their last 6 and should be healthier with an extra rest afforded to with the bye. Fresno's team is going to extend the pressure with a lengthy perimeter. With lengthy perimeter guys like Harris, Lewis, and they all have a few rim protectors or on the interior. Watson, Russo, a couple other guys. Although, it appears Jones won't be returning. Basically, you have to be a good jump shooting team to beat the Bulldogs. Hard-nosed, man-to-man. Offensively, they don't turn the ball over at all. And although they are playing a UNLV team, that UNLV team is on their home court. They just played a triple overtime game. Back to Fresno. They're not a good jump shooting team. They're susceptible to scoring droughts when teams throw a zone at them and keep them in transition. We all know the story with UNLV with the new coach. A lot of question marks with them. I just think they were lucky to get by Air Force in this one. I really do. Here's another one also that maybe you look at the under. I believe it was pretty high. Let me see something. Pretty sure it's a pretty high one. Fresno 148. So maybe a UNLV team total under also. Might be a way to split this one. Either way you go, but officially I like the Fresno side. To be honest with you, I like it. Like I said, it would have been a client play if I wasn't to miss it. What else we got? We got a couple more I do want to go over here, and we got 7 minutes, so maybe we'll touch on UTEP. What conference is UTEP in? Why can't I? My head is spinning these days trying to keep tab. Because there was something I wanted to read about UTEP in one of Jordan's write-ups. But for now, we look at UTEP getting points here line's going up. That's why I haven't sent it out yet. You look at this UTEP team. When playing with 1 day or less rest this year, the over 10-0 this year. Let me say it again, 10-0 this year. The total in this one's 176. So everyone's, it's not like the best number. Last time they played, I believe it was an overtime game. Maybe not though, but they put up 112 on Marshall, 112-108. Quite the beatdown there. This UTEP team's not bad, honestly, and I haven't really been a big fan of Marshall for a very long time. Stephen F. Austin. Why can't I think of the friggin' conference that they're in? John Jensen, someone tell me what friggin' conference these guys are in. I really just can't think right now. I don't know why. But either way, hold on. Let me pull it up. But either way, like I said, I like the points. You can't go wrong. I think that they can win this game outright, to be honest with you. I think they're good enough to do that. I think they're good enough to make a little run through the tournament here. They took off FIU. Marshall comes in. Yes, they got a great, exciting offense. Up tempo, 3 heavy spread offense. They have a dynamic point guard that's dominant and versatile. Big in Kelly, James Kelly. However, it looks like the Herd are running out of gas. The teams are much more prepared for the up-tempo and pro-style offense the second time around. Marshall lost 3 out of the last 4. It would have, lost to USM with the bye on the line if it wasn't for a couple of miracle buzzer beaters in regulation and overtime. UTEP particularly can give them some issues because they have the firepower on the floor since Tim Ford went to a similar 4-guard lineup, in El Paso. Like I said, they put up 112 on them, 1.33 points per game, with Artist Lee and Moore and Morris all banging at the rim since Floyd switched to a more, perimeter-oriented attack. UTEP 6-2, and they got through a tough FIU team. UTEP struggled more containing, the roaming athleticism type players. You can get in on, you can drive on them. I just think UTEP, they've seen this style of offense, and Marshall does not do a good job of adjusting. I think at the very least it's a close game. I think UTEP has a chance to steal this one. So another free play tonight's going to be UTEP. So hopefully, we can go from there. I'll tell you what, this Duke game really wasn't looking good. I'll tell you, my buddy, I pray for him here. I really do, because I know he's loving this Notre Dame right now. I know he's got Notre Dame +2, and then he's got a live bet on the -1.5. So hopefully Notre Dame can get it done for him right now. Let's do a little live look in. Ira says Conference USA. Ira, remind me after we talk to this guy to get into Conference USA, if you will, please, as we do a little live look in here to this game. Hopefully the sound will be good. We're going to be calling him up in a second here. 44 seconds. All we need is a little overtime here, which just happened. It's brutal. But Conference USA, yes, we can get into that. If you were talking about UTEP, no, it's not Conference USA. Sorry. Conference USA. Yes. Thank you. If you were telling me for UTEP, yeah. But I did want to get into. Now you got me confused now. Not the Southland. what the hell tournament did I want to talk about? Big West maybe a little bit with Hawaii, but that already got underway. I did put a future in on Temple today. That was the one future I added. I know we gave away the Marquette